So with that, let's bring up Eric and Carol Sheffer. We're going to have their presentation.
Keep clapping, they're still coming.
Yeah, keep clapping.
There we go. Made it.
We doing a selfie? What do you want to do? You gonna do a selfie over here?
Is that what we're supposed to do? Is a selfie? Except we can't. Okay, wait a minute.
Are we actually gonna do a selfie?
Yeah.
All right, here it is on live TV. If that's TV, I don't know what it is. Yeah, there you go.
Robert, you getting in there? You're a little short there, Robert. I didn't get it.
I am short. I know that.
Can you hold this? Wait.
Eric, you got it?
You can do it.
All right, there we go. There we go. Okay.
Selfie accomplished. That,
Inspire me, Sarah.
that was the hardest part of the presentation.
That's
right there. There you go. All right. So guys, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Carol, you want to start? Oh, you want me to start?
I'll start. No, just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's see. Eric and Carol Sheffer, we've live in Georgetown, so we made a long trek down here, 3 hours to get down here. Traffic.
Anybody else from Georgetown? Yeah.
Joey? Yeah.
He didn't say anything. I was waiting for Joey to pipe up. Yeah.
Was it really a 3-hour drive?
Yes.
They said it was. Must be.
Well, that's a bathroom break.
Oh,
Yeah. Let's see. So we live in Georgetown. Just a little background on us. Carol worked for IBM for 27 years. Was that 27 years? And it's soul sucked her pretty bad. And so basically she was looking for a way to just get out. And she was more into investment properties than I was. And I had been a realtor and still am a realtor, but I'm not actively selling houses these days. I'm actually actively filling my own vacancies at our apartments, so and our single-family homes. So how we got started in Lifestyles, in 2016, we had owned a duplex, and we said, okay, let's join Lifestyles, and we were a B for a while. I think Sarah, you were talking about being a B. We were Bs because we didn't really we joined and then we didn't do anything for like 6 months. And we kind of watched and so it took a little bit of us to get off our duff to get going. But when we started, we sold the duplex that we were mismanaging. We didn't know how to manage it. It was cash flowing $500. This is in an acre of land in Austin, and we ended up selling it for a lot of money, stupidly, because it was just, the luck of the market. But Lifestyles taught us to turn that money, the equity into 5 single-family homes. So that's how we got our start. Along the way, we started doing a couple of passive deals, and so we've got into 7 passive deals, and 2 of them have sold. But and then I never thought in a million years that we would be in multifamily. I'm being a realtor. I was a residential realtor. Didn't really know anything about investment property. Carol knew more about investment property than I did. And so we decided that we would, I think Dave Fisher and Joe Flores basically talked us into going the multifamily route. And so we actually did a 1031 exchange on a couple of the 5 houses that we bought, and exchange them into an apartment in Giddings, which is kind of on the way to Houston. It's not the center of the universe, but 24 units, and we did that independently as independent rental owners, so we didn't have investors in that. And then had that for about 2 years, and then we decided to syndicate the next deal, a 54 unit, which is what we're going to talk about tonight, which is Lakeside Apartments. And so we have 23 investors in that. And so what do you want to ask us?
Well, we're going to go to the next slide.
Yeah.
That was you covered every piece of it. It was
Okay,
wonderful.
good.
No questions needed.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
there you go.
Very good.
So talk a little bit about why you joined Lifestyles.
Yeah, so I, like someone else, listened to Dell on the radio for a long time. I had rental properties when I was in my 20s. I always wanted to do rental properties. And so I heard Dell on the radio, but geez, I listened to him for like a year. Then I went to Eric and said, I think we should go check this out. And we did, and we joined pretty much right away. So that's kind of why we joined, and our why is to create more time and money. You know, as he mentioned, I was in corporate America, won't mention the company at this point, for a long time. Yeah, not sure it was already mentioned. For a very long time, and you do not have, you know, you pretty much don't have any control over your schedule or any of those kinds of things.
There was one day Carol worked 20 hours in one day, and I was so pissed off. I said, you need to quit this job as soon as possible.
So I did. So because of lifestyle.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the property, Lakeside Apartments in Taylor, Texas.
In Taylor, Texas, yeah. So we acquired this property right after the pandemic. I mean, the pandemic hit, and
During the pandemic.
what's that?
During the pandemic.
Yeah, well, the pandemic hit, and then we acquired the property like a couple months later. So we weren't buying it on a pro forma deal or anything like that. We were basically buying land because it was 49% occupied when we took over. It was a negative bank carry with the bank, and we basically said, so just the money price was $2.4 million. We do have investors, so we didn't have $2.4 million laying around. And so our cash out of pocket was just over $1 million.
And you said you had how many passive investors with you?
23.
23. And what was the range of investments?
25 to 100,000.
So $25,000 could get you into this deal,
Yeah.
which will obviously in a minute, you guys are going to love these numbers in a second, make you a lot more than 25.
Yeah. Yeah. I would have liked to have been an IRO on this deal. But
Yeah, I would have liked to, I'd like to be in the deal.
So just to give you an idea, all in, the purchase price was 2.465, and then we had a draw from the bank of, you know, we were going to do rehab, and so we did about a little over $500,000 of rehab. So all in, we were about $3 million all in. So 54 units all in. Price per door, 44 a door. All in price with the rehab was about 55 a door. So.
Awesome. So let's take a look at and see what you did. Just talk a little bit about these pictures here. There's going to be before and after.
Yeah, this is, they'll go into more detail, I guess, on the 2-day, but this was a value play, right? This was a deep value play, right? It was not managed
49% occupied, I assume so.
Yeah, it's a pretty deep value play. There was I mean, just to give you a background on how crazy it was, the very first day that we took possession of the property, there was a squatter in one of the units that we had to get removed. And we'll go into other things that happened, but basically the first week that we took over, I had met with the fire marshal to do the certificate of occupancy, and I made a comment. I said, you know, to the fire marshal, I said, I'm really surprised there's a lot of homelessness in Taylor. And I said, it seems like the park that we're next to, which I think that last picture, if you go back, we can show the park. So there's a lake in front of the apartments, and that's the from the back of seeing the lake and the whatever. But anyway, there's a big park.
Beautiful.
It's a beautiful piece of land. But anyway, the fire marshal said, no, the park is not ground zero for homeless and drug dealers and things like that. It's your property. Yeah. And one of the police that was escorting a couple of his squatters out said, he goes, you need to empty this property. Take it and turn it upside down and shake everybody out of it. Now, that's not really what happened. We actually today, there's some, you know, there were some purple Martians in this property, right? We had people that weren't paying rent. I don't know if you recall, there was something called an eviction moratorium that was happening, right? So we couldn't evict people for non-paying of rent. There was a lady that hadn't paid rent for over a year when we took over. So we basically said, okay, we got to figure out another way to get them out. And there was all kinds of different creative ways that we did. Like they had unauthorized occupants living with them that weren't supposed to be living with them and so forth. So it was crazy town. I mean, the whole thing was crazy town. So Yeah, I mean, it's anything that you could imagine that could happen on a property, it happened. It really happened on the property.
And
So-
all of your passes are glad that you did that.
yeah. So, so that's, going into the, what we did. So the first month that we were, occupying the property, I mean, the people that would want to live there was not the type of person that I would want renting from us, right? So we had to make a lot of changes and fast to be able to start attracting the people that we wanted to be into the property. So we took the $500,000 of rehab that the bank gave us, and we said to the bank, we're going to renovate 20 units to start. We figure we're not going to renovate all the units, can't afford it. And so we went ahead and over the course of 6 months renovated 20 units. And slowly you start to get a different level of people coming in, and then they're not the greatest either. Then over time you start to get a little bit better and better and better in terms of just quality of people. So what we did is we had to first do a facelift of the property, right? So we had to change it. And so just kind of before and after shots, I mean, this was our leasing office, and you can look at the picture on the left. It kind of looks tired, and the color scheme didn't match. So the buildings were blue with red doors that looked like a Motel 6, and the leasing office was green and yellow. And if you go to the next slide, our marquee sign was green and orange. And so there was no continuity to that. So we wanted to brand it. And so what we did is we did a seafoam color. If you go to the leasing office was the seafoam color. We did our doors on the apartments itself, the same seafoam color. We did gray paint on the background. By the way, Robert was with us during feasibility.
Yeah.
So you were right there with us when...
Yeah, it looked like it smelled like money, and we're about to see.
Actually, it smelled worse than that,
Yes,
actually, at the beginning. So the things that we did to the properties, we wanted to brand it. The signage, we wanted to make it consistent. Everything looked consistent. And so over time, this was a kind of work in progress. The marquee sign, we put plants in it. We have it lit up at night. The rest of the property, I don't have any night pictures. I wish I had some, but we lit it up like an airport. We could land planes there at night because it was pitch black. And so we had people living behind the buildings. We had meth going on in some of the laundry rooms. People were letting people in the laundry rooms, so we changed the lock and put codes on the locks. And so we had done quite a bit of that. So going on to the next slide, going interior-wise, so we did a whole exterior. We did foundations, we did roofs, we did sidings, we did paint, and then we did landscaping to soften up the property because it looked pretty stark. And so our typical unit looked like the picture on the left, and that was very beat up cabinets. The countertops were, I can't really get a good shot there, but they were beat up. And so what we said we were going to do is that we're going to make it clean and functional. And we tried the very first unit we did, we put stainless steel appliances in. I got a really good deal at IKEA, and I put stainless steel appliances in, painted the cabinets black and all that, and realized that I really didn't need to do that. So the clientele that was there was a housing shortage. And so one of the things that we did before we purchased the property, we're trying to do market surveys, right? We're trying to get out and figure out where to price our units. And no one would give us prices because everybody was full in town. That triggered something to me that's like, if we're full, we're onto something, and we're just going to have to do our own test market and see what is out there. Yeah, what are we going to get, right, for rent? And the other thing is, most of the units or apartment communities in town were affordable housing, which is nothing wrong with affordable housing, but it's not Lifestyle's business model. It's not what we've been taught to do is affordable housing. We're for profit, and we want to make it profitable for us. So we basically, that being said, with we said, okay, we think we can turn this thing around, and it took about 8 months to really make the changes that we wanted to make to get the right people in. Yeah.
So you made a bunch of changes on the outside.
Yep.
And then as the moratorium finished up, you were able to evict and try to get
Well,
new residents in, or how?
We were not a part of the CARES Act, really, so we could theoretically evict for non-payment of rent, but typically we didn't want to go in and be the meanie people like, hey, we worked with everybody. We invited everybody into the office, and we basically said, hey, let's do a payment plan, which is not normal in normal times, right? But we tried to work with everybody. But then over time, people just kind of weeded themselves out. I mean, we have 2 properties, and we've done 2 evictions. I have 78 units between the 2 properties, and we've done 2 evictions. Yeah, so we have a way of getting people to leave without having to go to court, right? Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. So what we wanted to do, and I'll let Carol talk about what we did to, kind of increase the business,
Okay. Okay, so as you saw, 49% occupied, negative carry with the bank. So what did we do, and how did we focus on all of this? So, there are different kind of areas that we focused on. Definitely doing substantial rent increases every time we did a turn. Oh, thank you. And we always push it. So we always, send up a test balloon, see if we're going to get it. We're very on top of making sure we do the rent bumps for folks, very moderate if you're there, certainly not at market rent, but we do them. We really focus on expense reduction, lots of expenses with the 1970 property that has not been maintained, right? So we really focused on a lot of those kinds of things. And then other income was really important, things like implementing late fees, which had not been implemented. As you saw on one of the slides, there really was no laundry room. It was completely gutted. So we redid the laundry room and got the laundry income as well.
Well, one thing on there I also wanted to point out that preventative maintenance, a lot of people say, yeah, preventative maintenance isn't very sexy because you don't get a lot of money out of it. We got saved thousands of dollars by doing preventative maintenance. When we first started, we had ACs going out right and left. And of course, the AC company wants to come out and just, hey, yeah, I think you need a new AC unit here. Had a leak, you got to do a new AC unit. Oh, the air filter's clogged, you got to get a new AC unit. So we actively made an effort to go out and do quarterly inspections on the units, making sure that the air filters were changed and things like that. And that saved us thousands of dollars. I mean, this year, in the 105 degree, 108 degree weather that we were recently having, now we're in September, I had an AC just go out on me. And
yeah, we actually had no
We were
AC.
expecting it to be a lot worse.
Yeah, we had no AC expenses in August. I'm like, is this right?
Yeah, it was hot this year.
Can't be right.
Yeah, insanely hot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys improved the exterior of the property,
Right.
you improved the interior of the property, you improved the operations of the property.
Yes.
Yep.
And that is going to lead us into what these numbers are going to actually do here. So, just real quick, the things to look at here, your year 1 and year 2, tremendous amount of increase in income, slight increase in expenses, and you can see, look at those cash-on-cash returns, 7 to 17%, and this was a value play.
Yeah.
So in the first couple of years, you're already kicking out double-digit returns. So I mean, that's pretty good for value play.
Well, in 2 years that we had the property, we said we were planning on refinancing or selling in 3 to 5 years. That's kind of typical thing that our leads might say to you on a property like this is say, hey, 3 to 5 years, we're going to probably refi or sell depending on what the market's doing. We saw that the interest rates were pretty low back in the day, and so it was we refinanced from a 5.15% from the bank, and we got into a new bank at 4.75, and we were able to do a 78% distribution, which is basically, it's not a return of capital, they call it a return of distribution, but it's equal to about 78% of what
The
people
original
put
capital.
into the deal, original money that was put into the deal, right? So, not including our quarterly distributions
Right.
that we had done, which was, to this day, is averaging right around 11%. I think our first distribution was 7. We were conservative, and we said we were going to pay out in 12 to 18 months. With all the craziness that's going on with ice storms and eviction moratoriums and everything else, so we're going to try to hold off for another 6 months to really pile up the reserves. Just being conservative and want to make sure that we're have enough cash to run the business. But our first distribution was 7%, and we did 12% distributions. And we probably could have done higher, but the problem is we want to always err on the conservative side of making sure we have enough cash.
You sleep better whenever you got a little cash in the bank.
Yeah, absolutely.
Understood. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And after having to go through 49% occupancy and all those troubles, sleeping well is nice.
It's sleeping a lot better these
Yeah,
days.
for sure. Yeah, you're all going to sleep well on this. So this is the if you were to sell it in year 3. So if you were to sell it in year 3, and they just told you how they increased the NOI, first thing we would do is I'm going to make a comment here. So cap rates are going up. Everybody knows that.
Yep.
These guys, if you look at the values there, when they bought the property, they bought it at far lower than a 6%.
8 cap?
Yeah, an 8 cap, right?
Yeah, it was an 8 cap.
And then for a period of time, everything was really hot. I think we had it at 5.5% here, but we're estimating right now 6.25% in Taylor, Texas, which is probably still conservative. Okay, so with that conservative number, $6.8 million would be the value of the property with this NOI.
Yeah.
First thing you do is you pay off the bank, then you give everybody their original capital back, and then you add back in the distributions, the refi, and all that kind of business, and you've got an equity capture of $3.6 million on a $1 million investment. So 343% above your original investment. Anybody think that's okay?
Yeah.
Everybody sleep? Awesome. So then, great job, obviously, hard work, and amazing results. So tell us a little bit about how Lifestyles has changed your life.
I'll let Carol take that one.
So, as we had mentioned previously, I got to retire. Yay! Eric's still a real estate broker, but he's very, he'll do it for family and friends, kind of thing. And
They're the worst clients, actually.
So we're no longer dependent on, corporate America, to having someone tell you have to work a 20-hour day, you cannot take this long a vacation, how would that look, blah, 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 that kind of thing. So we set our own schedule, we bought back our own time. We love to travel, that's our passion. So we have gone to 6 out of 7 of the continents before we get.
Oh, yeah, next, you can go to the next slide, I
No,
guess. What? Before?
What's the joke?
Oh, yeah. So we've gone to 6 continents, and right now we're in continent.
I thought it was we want to go before we become.
Oh, we want to go before we become incontinent. Okay, yeah,
You should have told the joke.
that's right.
I should have told you.
I didn't know where she was going.
It's more funny when he screwed up the joke now. I mean, he's incontinent now, apparently.
I'm completely backed up.
Okay.
All right, so tell us a little about what you
So
want
what's
to
that?
do, short term, long term. What's your goals?
So we have 4 single-family homes left in San Antonio. We would like to sell them at some point and probably get another multifamily deal with it. We have our IRO in Giddings that we'd like to unload and sell that. We like to continue to make gobs of money. And so we want to sell Lakeside probably next year with the permission of our investors, of course. But the reason why we would want to sell next year is our rents keep going up every single month. And so if we just waited out 6 months, I mean, our rents have gone from $850 for a 2-bedroom to our last rent was $1,550. Yeah. So
And that wasn't included in your NOI projections.
No.
So that just means value
no,
is
our
going up.
NOI was saying that we would do $850.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Well, for
the performance.
Performa, I'm sorry, Performance said
But
that we
he's
would do
saying that
$850.
this NOI that we have.
The one we just looked at did not
Doesn't
include
include
that
the
Doesn't
type of
include the $1,550.
So there's
that's
more.
Right. There's more. Yeah. Yeah.
There's one.
Long-term goals?
We want to become Dusty and Sandy. Yeah. Who they call them super passive. I call them passive aggressive.
All right, now who's on your team?
Well, Robert, you were on our team. You were there from the beginning, and Teresa Harrell, who's probably here somewhere.
That's
And
All
you're
right.
right, hey, Teresa.
She's helps us sanity. Well, both of you help sanity check us, and you know, the rest of the people that are on our team is our investors. I mean, it's the investors that
we
made
have
this
a couple right up there.
yeah, raise
Oh,
your
yeah.
hand if
If
we
you're
have
an investor.
investors here. Nina, Nora, David.
Okay, now raise your hand if you wish you were.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. We have any questions?
Yes, question. What service are you using to build credit for the residents?
Credit Builder. It's a program where the resident can basically, if they don't meet a certain, and this is our rental criteria, anybody else might have a different rental criteria, but not to get too far in the weeds on this, but if they have really good background check when we do it, but their credit score is pretty low, we might ask for a double deposit or something like that. If we can get them approved, then we highly recommend to them is get on Credit Builder. It's like $8 a month. And it basically reports on-time payments, not late payments, just the on-time payments, rent payments to the credit bureaus. And I've had people that have changed their credit scores by 100 points. It's just in a few months of doing that. So that's what the Credit Builder program. There's probably some other.
That's a win for you guys on NOI, and it's
Yeah.
also a win for them.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
good.
Yeah.
Always win.
It's another
That's great.
revenue source for sure.
How about an audience? Anybody have a question? You just blown away? What do you got? Do you have any good stories? Let's give us one last good story about a resident. I think you might have more than one, but let's
Yeah, I'd like I would be
he's
kicked
talking
off the
about
stage.
residents.
Well, hey, what
Yeah.
about the guy that was doing his wash in your
Oh,
laundry?
yeah. Can you go back to that slide? You know, they had that picture of the laundry room that was empty.
Oh, did I go for it?
Was it 4? Yeah, there we go.
There it is, yeah.
So this is day 2. Carol and one of our staff members were out walking the property and opens up this laundry room door. And we knew this during feasibility. It was gutted, right? There's no equipment in there, but
So that's not machines back there. That's
Yeah.
where they painted around.
yeah,
the
that's
machines,
it.
okay?
Yeah, right.
So there's nothing in there.
Right. So Carol swings open the door and couldn't open it quite away because there was a person sleeping on the ground there. And the guy
He
comes
was
up.
in a chair.
Was he in a chair?
Yeah, he was in a chair.
Oh, well, he was awake. Okay.
No, he wasn't awake. He was asleep in a chair.
He was asleep in the chair. Okay. And so what happened was he says, "Oh, I'm just doing a wash. I'm yeah, right. Yeah,
There you go.
that's just one of the stories, but
We could go on.
we could go on. I've got
there's
millions
lots,
of them.
I have 2 questions
Yep.
for you. So this is a value play.
Yep.
It's hard, right? Robert and I both do value plays.
Yep.
We know the effort you put into it.
Yeah.
Would you ever do another one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah?
yeah.
Okay.
right.
Glad for punishment, man.
I would like to do another one right now if we can. So yeah, we're looking.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, we're looking.
Did you have hair when you started? Or did you pull it all out? Or?
I pulled my hair out years ago. I think I went bald at 17. So
Okay.
yeah.
Another question.
Thank you. You
Yeah,
could probably,
question.
the reason why you think it's beautiful is you could probably see your reflection in
We're going to take an online question here.
How much time are you currently spending physically on site and time spent working on business off-site?
That's a really good question. In the beginning, probably I would say the first 6 to 8 months, I was working 7 days a week, probably 12 hours a day. We had to have an on-site presence there. My property manager didn't start for a week when we acquired the property. She bought our house the same day we closed on our property. So I didn't have her for a week. I let her move in. And so literally, the Taylor Police Department got really familiar with us because I was calling on the hour to try to get people off the property. And I'll have to admit, it felt overwhelming in the beginning. But my advice to anybody who's doing a value play is you bite the elephant one bite at a time. And slowly but surely, it's like, okay, the last of the people that were making life really difficult for us were gone, and we're like, it's just like an era of, okay, we're now got our head above the water, right? And
How often do you go now?
so now, I really don't go that often. Like our property in Giddings, it was a yield play, so we rarely go there nowadays. And when I do go, if I go travel through Houston, I'll go through both properties. And our staff does such a good job of maintaining the property and everything else that really we spend our time is working on the business and not in the business. So I would say Carol works hard. In the beginning, I was working harder than anybody, but now I work a lot less, and Carol does a lot of the bookkeeping, works with a bookkeeper and accountants and stuff.
Probably work about 15 hours a week.
Yeah, 15 hours a week, and
Something like that.
she's anal retentive, so she didn't have to work that much. But yeah, I mean, it honestly, it's a labor of love, and it's something that we're really passionate about. We love doing this business, and we feel so blessed because I never thought a regular person like me would ever be able to do anything like this. And so that, thanks to Lifestyles, that's what's amazing. And just all the advice that we've gotten from fellow leads, and we've heard everybody has a horror story of what to do and what not to do, and we just share information. Tomorrow we're going to be meeting with Lynn Morrow and other leads, and we're just going to have roundtables about, okay, how's life in your property and best practices, and somehow we all just kind of figure it out for each other's help. So that's what's awesome about all this.
So last question.
Yep.
If you were speaking to somebody new in the audience, what would you tell them?
Just get started. And I know you might be fearful to try to do it. We were scared, especially multifamily. We were like, this is so foreign to us. We had our hand held. Just dive in. That's what I would say. Just do it. You'll make it.
All right. And let's give them a round of applause, guys. Good job. So